Welcome back to Catholic Lunch Break here on AM 1430. My name is Wyatt Goolsby. I'm the executive director of this radio station, KSHJ. If you are plugged in at all to the wider Catholic community across the greater Houston area, you know there are a lot of resources where people can help develop and grow in their relationship with God. Here to talk more about that, as well as some of the programs that are going on, is Mary Pierson. She's the executive director at Emmaus Spirituality Center here in Houston. Mary, thanks for coming on the program with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Wyatt. I appreciate being here.
For people who are unfamiliar with Emmaus Spirituality Center, tell me a little bit about it.
Well, Emmaus is almost 5 years old. It'll be 5 years old in January. It came out of the Cynical Sisters making a decision to close the Cynical Retreat House and move back to Chicago. The directors felt it was really important that we continue that ministry of training laity and religious in spiritual direction, and so we formed Emmaus Spirituality Center. We do the SDI program. We offer a lot of spiritual programs, and obviously we do one-on-one spiritual direction.
Very good. As I mentioned, you guys have a number of different programs, opportunities for retreats, for example, for men, for women, different things like that. My understanding is that you had really put out a program schedule for the next end of this year, beginning of 2025. Is that right?
We have. We are really pleased that, starting up during COVID was a bit of a challenge in getting commitments. And so this year we actually have a program schedule that goes from September to July. And it is printed, but it's also on our website, and we encourage people to, anytime they're looking for something, that's the place to go.
You had mentioned to me that you are announcing a new ministry training program for the spiritual exercises. Let's take a step back and just kind of explain what that is.
Okay. So their spiritual direction is one-on-one, just learning to listen to God and what your journey is with God. Mm-hmm. The spiritual exercises were written by St. Ignatius, and it's a more intense and it's a daily living practice. A spiritual director could lead you through the exercises, but what we found was they didn't really know enough about the exercises themselves to help you. When you're going through the exercises, you don't just open a book and go day by day by day. You go by where God is calling you. So you need someone who's there to walk that with you, that knows when it's time to stay and be committed to what you're hearing, and those times when you need to move forward. And so we're doing a new training program, and the way we're going to kick it off is the first Saturday in November, November the 2nd. He is a doctor, but he's also a priest, so it's Father Hung Pham, who is a Jesuit, and he is the director of the Office of Spiritual Exercises for the Jesuits. He's coming here to Emmaus, and he's going to do a one-day program on discerning whether you are ready to go on the spiritual exercises. And so that'll be our kickoff program, and it's open to anyone who's ever wanted to hear and learn more about what the spiritual exercises are. And then those directors that are interested in walking with somebody in this journey are encouraged to join our program, and it'll be a 2-year training program.
Well, that makes sense to me because I have not gone through the spiritual exercises, but I have heard they can be pretty intense if you're not well prepared, if you don't know what you're kind of getting into. So that makes sense to me, that just to talk a little bit about it, give people background on the spiritual exercises, how it goes, how long it lasts and stuff like that, really makes sense to me. For you, have you done the spiritual exercise? What do you think has done for you in your life, Mary?
It's interesting because I've actually done the spiritual exercises a couple of times. They're not a one-and-done kind of thing. The very first time I did it was when I was a new spiritual director, and I was working with Sister Mary Dennison at the Cynical. I have to tell you, the first time going through it, I'm not going to say I took a lot away from it. Mm-hmm. I wasn't where I needed to be, and therefore I didn't know how to make the journey. Since then, I've done it in a couple of different formats. There's one where you do it one-on-one with somebody. There's sometimes it's done more in a group setting, and I've done both of those. And it does help you really take time to stop, listen, what's God calling me to? What is my next steps? So it's a great discernment process, and it's a great opportunity to grow closer in that one-on-one relationship that we all want with Jesus.
And I like your example because I can imagine there are a lot of people like you, Mary, who may start to pray, want to have a closer relationship with God, but may not have prayed in a while, may not have discerned more deeply, and so it can be off-putting at first when they don't say to themselves, well, I didn't get anything out of this prayer at first. You have to continue to pray. You have to continue to work at it. It's almost like lifting weights. If you lift weights regularly, you'll become better at lifting weights. If you pray to God and build that relationship with him, you'll be able to draw into a deeper, closer relationship with him and being able to kind of delve into these spiritual exercises. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Again, luckily you guys at Emmaus really try to meet people where they are in that sense.
We do. I mean, if you look at our own faith, how many different prayer practices that are out there, why would we have so many if there wasn't so much need? What's good for me is not necessarily good for you. What's good for me now may not be what's good for me 6 months or 5 years from now. It's a growing process when we really work on our relationship with Jesus. We're at different steps, different things happen to us in life. I just a few years ago lost my husband, and that really threw my prayer life off for quite some time. And having someone as a spiritual director who could sit with me and help me get back on that horse kind of type thing, that you've got to do it, that's just really needed. It's really hard to do that all by yourself all the time.
Yeah. The need for trained ministers to be able to carry out the spiritual exercises also seems so important because, again, you're kind of sending them out into the world to be able to talk to all these folks. And like you say, the folks have to be able to, they come from different backgrounds and they have to be able to talk to people and meet them where they are. You have several events that are going on that are related to Emmaus Spirituality Center that you guys are hosting. One that's coming up on October 24th. That's a Thursday, if I'm thinking correctly.
It is correct.
And that's y'all's big gala, your benefit dinner. Tell me a little bit about that event.
Well, it's our 4th annual event. It is a fundraising event for us so we can continue our work. But I'm particularly excited this year on who our keynote speaker and honoree is, and it's Sister Maureen O'Connell. Many of you might know who she is. She is the Secretariat for the Archdiocese for all things in the social realm. I mean, she covers all those different activities. She began Angela House, but I think I really just had lunch with her last week, and I think the reason that I connected with her so easily is she's a nice Irish woman, and we kind of had that same kind of background where being involved in social justice is very, very important. And when I first chose her as our speaker, I had someone say, well, what does spiritual direction and social justice have to do with one another? And I said, everything, because our prayer life is about listening to what God is calling us to. And I can pretty much bet you that he's calling you to do something in the social justice realm, whatever that might be, that you're capable of either making donations to these organizations, volunteering for these organizations. And so when you hear what she went through and how she made her journey, and went from being a police officer to being a nun, is a big jump. And I just think she's a perfect model of what we hope that everybody that crosses our doors does, is learn to listen to what God is calling us to do and then go out and do it.
And that could be scary at first.
It can be very scary.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have that coming up again. That gala is going to be on Thursday, October 24th. You can go onto the Emmaus Spirituality Center website to find out more about that, to buy a ticket or whatnot. Give me the website URL for people who want to know.
Unfortunately, it's EmmausSpiritualityCenter.com.
There you go. So EmmausSpiritualityCenter.com is right there. In addition to that, several other events that are upcoming. There's a men's spiritual retreat or spiritual journey that's coming up this Saturday, October 19th. Again, it's for men. The good part about that one is that's just a one-day thing, right?
It's just a morning. It's a Saturday morning from 9 to noon. And what's really important about this is that it's for men only, and so they can really be a little bit more open. And the gentleman that is leading it has been a longtime spiritual director for us. He's also a retired psychologist, and he's going to share a little bit about his own journey. But it gives these men an opportunity to share with one another what they're on, because you're not alone. Everybody's on a journey.
Right, and iron sharpen iron.
Yeah.
And that seems to be really important for men as well. Mary, when you talk to people who have participate in some of these retreats or these programs with or through Emmaus Spirituality Center. Tell me about some of the feedback that you get. Is this a situation where sometimes it takes people some time, maybe they go to several events, and they slowly start to build up their own spirituality and their own willingness to give to others?
That's exactly what we do. Everybody has to be on the journey and take the time that's necessary for them. There is no map that tells you you have to move from point A to point B in 25 minutes. It's whatever God calls you to.
And it seems to be a running theme with the Emmaus Spirituality Center is meeting people where they are, walking with them as individuals. I think that's so important, especially as all of us as individuals draw closer to Christ by helping one another as well. One quick recap here. Again, Saturday, November 2nd is Spiritual Exercises in Daily Life, where people can learn more about that. Mary, give me the website for Emmaus Spirituality Center one more time.
It's EmmausSpiritualityCenter.com.
Again, all spelled out there. You can look at their calendar and find out all the information, including their upcoming gala on Thursday, October 24th. Mary Pierson with Emmaus Spirituality Center, we thank you so much.
Thank you. We always enjoy it.
Yes, and we appreciate your support of our radio apostolate and all the folks with Emmaus for helping us out as well. And we thank you for listening here to Catholic Lunch Break on AM 1430. We appreciate your support of our ministry. Until next time, stay Catholic, Houston.